They always want you to, you know what these rappers, all these singers, all these big rappers y'all look up to? They always tell you what the good part about, but they never tell you what the bad part. And that's crazy, man. Yeah, they got all this money, but they dealing with emo spirits. They dealing with killing themselves. They dealing with, man, come on, man.
Nobody would ever say that one.
Oh, yeah. So here goes Envy.
They said he said he was Diddy's boy toy.
What?
I was in Jamaica with him.
Oh, I see it now.
See?
I was in
YK
Jamaica with
Osiris
him.
in Jamaica with his alleged boo Diddy.
The truth behind the tears, the trip, and the trauma it started with a tear. Just one. But in the world of hip-hop, where emotions are often buried beneath bling, bravado, and billboard hits, one tear can mean everything. When YK Osiris appeared on Instagram Live, crying and visibly shaken, fans thought it was just another emotional moment from the often expressive singer. But what he said next hit harder than a diss track at the BET Awards. I can't hold this in no more. I need to tell y'all what happened in Jamaica. Please don't forget to subscribe and like this video. It is free and help us bring you enjoyable content. And of course, watch till the end. That's all it took. The internet exploded. Rumors spread like wildfire. What was supposed to be a tropical getaway with Sean Diddy Combs in 2021 suddenly looked a lot less like a vacation and more like the start of a psychological thriller. YK was spiraling and his followers could see it in real time. But behind the mental breakdown, behind the tears, behind the cryptic confessions, there was a story. A real story. One with yachts, secrets, celebrity pressure, betrayal, and an island that may hold more skeletons than souvenirs. So buckle in. Because this isn't just about YK Osiris or Diddy. It's about power, fame, manipulation, and how a young artist nearly lost himself chasing a dream that turned into a nightmare. You know that guy on social media who's always posting in front of exotic cars, flashing diamond grills, and vacationing like he's got Jeff Bezos money? That was YK Osiris. At just 21, he'd made a name for himself with charting singles, viral antics, and an undeniable knack for staying in the headlines. But in 2021, the tone shifted. I sold my Lamborghini. I sold my Rolls. I sold my Cadillacs, he admitted in a viral clip. Now pause. Why would a rising star, who just the year before was gifting jewelry and flying private, suddenly sell off his fleet of luxury cars? Fans chalked it up to maturity. Maybe he was downsizing. Maybe he was reinvesting. But those closest to YK knew the truth, he wasn't just decluttering. He was desperate. Behind the curtain of confidence was a young man swimming in debt, entangled in toxic industry deals, and increasingly isolated. Enter Diddy. But what could the music mogul possibly want with YK at his lowest? Imagine you're broke. Not regular broke, famous broke. Which means you still need to maintain the illusion, even when your bank account is screaming. And just when you're at your lowest, one of the biggest names in music invites you to an exclusive trip to Jamaica. No cameras. No managers. Just vibes. It felt like a lifeline. Maybe Diddy was going to offer him a deal. Maybe it was a mentorship opportunity. Maybe this was how YK would finally bounce back. So he packed his bags, smiled for the gram, and boarded a private jet to paradise. But what he walked into wasn't a vacation, it was a vortex. Multiple insiders confirmed that the trip wasn't as chill as it looked on social media. Guests described the atmosphere as tense, even eerie at times. YK, usually the loudest in the room, was oddly quiet. His behavior? Erratic. Almost like he was being watched or silenced. And here's where things take a darker turn. So, what actually happened in Jamaica? That's the million-dollar question and the million-dollar cover-up, if you believe the whispers coming out of entertainment circles. According to leaked messages, there was a late-night meeting on the third night of the trip. YK was allegedly summoned to Diddy's private villa alone. Security was told to wait outside. No phones. No footage. After that night, everything changed. YK returned from the trip visibly shaken. Friends said he barely talked for days. His usual bubbly online presence was gone. Instead, he began posting cryptic messages, referencing betrayal, control, and even spiritual warfare. One post read, I've seen the devil and he wears Prada. Is it a metaphor? Or something more literal? Could it be that YK saw, or experienced, something in Jamaica that rocked his entire foundation? Whatever it was, it triggered a downward spiral that he's only now beginning to confront publicly. Here's where the plot thickens. If this were a one-off incident, it could be brushed aside. But Diddy's name has been surfacing in too many eerie allegations lately. From former employees to artists like Cassie, more and more people are stepping forward with stories of manipulation, intimidation, and control. Now, is all of it true? No one can say for sure. But the pattern is hard to ignore. The whispers have turned into roars. The lawsuits are piling up. And YK Osiris may be the latest and most emotionally raw example of what happens when fame turns predatory. So what did Diddy do to him? YK hasn't gone into full detail yet, but in his most recent emotional breakdown, he hinted at something that sounds less like a disagreement and more like trauma. Fast forward to today. YK Osiris logs onto Instagram Live, tears streaming down his face. He's ranting, shaking, confessing. I was so scared, bruh. I didn't know who to trust. That trip changed everything. I was lost. I felt like I couldn't speak. But I have to now. His fans flooded the comments, pleading with him to stay strong. But his words struck a chord deeper than any song he's ever made. In a culture where vulnerability is often mocked, his tears weren't weakness. They were truth. And that truth, raw, messy, and terrifying, might just blow open a story that's been buried for too long. Let's be real. The music industry has always had a dark underbelly. Behind the champagne toasts and award show smiles lies a cutthroat world where young talent is exploited, molded, and sometimes destroyed. YK Osiris is just the latest canary in the coal mine. His breakdown isn't just about Diddy. It's about a system that eats its young, that rewards silence and punishes honesty, that convinces artists they're family until they ask questions. And maybe, just maybe, that's what this whole thing is really about. So what happens now? In the days following his viral meltdown, something changed in YK. He stopped posting flashy outfits. He started talking about mental health. He's hinted at therapy, faith, and a desire to rebuild not his brand, but his soul. In one video, he looks straight at the camera and says, "I'm not scared no more. I'm tired of pretending. If telling the truth costs me everything, so be it." That's not just growth. That's revolution. He might not be topping charts right now, but in speaking up, he's doing something even more powerful. He's taking back control. Despite the recent wave of confessions, so many questions remain unanswered. What exactly happened in Jamaica? Why did Diddy invite YK there during such a vulnerable time? Why won't other artists speak up? And perhaps most haunting of all, how many other trips like this have happened without anyone ever speaking? We may never get all the answers. But YK cracking open the first layer of this story could be the beginning of a larger reckoning in the industry. One that's long overdue. Okay, so you're not a rapper. You haven't been invited to a mysterious island with Diddy. But there's still a message here for all of us. Trust your gut. If something feels off, it probably is. Speak your truth, even when it's scary. Especially when it's scary. Check on your strong friends. Pain wears many disguises. Don't worship the spotlight. Fame without peace is just a louder kind of loneliness. Healing is messy. And that's okay. YK's story is raw, but it's also relatable. Because who hasn't felt lost, used, or silenced at some point in their life? As the smoke clears, one thing is obvious. YK Osiris is no longer hiding. And if the industry thought his silence was permanent, they were wrong. He's finding his voice, and it's shaking the room. The fallout from Jamaica is far from over. But maybe, just maybe, his courage will inspire others to speak up too. What happens when the music stops and the truth starts playing? We're about to find out. What do you think happened in Jamaica? Have you ever been in a situation where you felt trapped, powerless, or silenced? Let's talk about it, because silence is where the real danger hides. Drop your thoughts below. Or better yet, share this story with someone who needs to hear it. Because sometimes, The most powerful sound in the world is the sound of truth finally being spoken.